So, I get the feeling that I am somewhat less well known around here than our brother Qayyum, but I hope to change that over the course of the next few weeks and months. So just a few words about who I am before we start, for those of you who don't know me. As you can all tell from my very thick Yorkshire accent, I am in fact a Yorkshireman, born and bred just outside Wetherby. The family business was here in Bradford for the best part of 150 years. For the history buffs amongst you, the Black Dyke Mills in Queensbury. I'm a former foreign correspondent. I worked for the Times in Libya right after the fall of Colonel Gaddafi, and I helped establish the first post-Gaddafi newspaper as a deputy editor, and I now work in business in developing world finance for financial inclusion for the very poorest. So that's really me, but we're here today primarily to speak about Qayyum. Now, Qayyum is known to all of you, and he's clearly well loved by all of you, because to come out in weather like we've had this afternoon, I think is a show of some dedication, frankly. And what I think is clear about Qayyum is that he is a man of real integrity. He's a man of real honour. And that was clear to me from the very first time I met him. I have absolutely no doubt that in him, all of you are very fortunate to have this man as our candidate for Heaton Ward, and I am certainly very fortunate to have him on my team. And one of the things that I think is different about the campaign that we want to fight this time is that, you know, this is going to be, from the Conservatives, and I say different, it will be a really straightforward campaign. We want to fight a clean campaign, we want to fight an honest campaign, we don't want any nonsense, we don't want any funny business, we don't want any tricks. Now, I don't know what's going on in the Labour Party. There's clearly some quite extraordinary things that are happening at the moment. I won't comment any further, but you know, the whole thing is starting to look a little bit strange. Now, as for George Galloway, I think I will let his own record speak for him for the past few years that he's been in government. But I think, you know, we want to be accountable to all of you. You know, I see the job of being an MP or being a council candidate, a councillor. It's not just about imposing policy onto you, it's about imposing all of you onto government policy. And this is something that George Galloway could have been brilliant at, if only he had had the inclination to bother. You know, he's a fine orator, he's a clever man, but he just doesn't care. He's never here. He's described the job of being an MP for this constituency as 98% tedium. He said he'd rather run for London Mayor. His attendance record is barely 9%. It's absolutely pathetic just how little he has sought to represent you. So that, I think, is going to be one of the big things that we want to try and change. Now, I just want to say one or two words about the economy, because how many of you here are in business? How many of you own your own businesses? Yes, at the back. I'm guessing most of you either run your own business or you're involved in business in some way. Am I right about that? That's right. Okay. We have got a real situation with the Labour Party, because I believe that they are a genuinely anti-business party. I believe that they are suspicious of businesses. I think they think that profit is a dirty word. 8% of Labour MPs have got any business experience at all. Not a single member of the shadow cabinet, the Labour Party, has any business experience. This is a party that fundamentally does not understand the economy. And that really worries me at the moment, because this is a very fragile economic recovery that we are currently experiencing. Britain is doing much better than the rest of Europe. We've created more jobs in this country since 2010 than the rest of the European Union put together, which is quite extraordinary. And I am by no means confident that the same thing would have happened under the Labour Party. It is in fact an absolute cast iron fact that under every single Labour government in history, unemployment has finished higher when they left office than when they came into office. This is not a party that I want to trust with the economy at this very fragile time. And there's just one more thing I want to say before I finish. And it was touched on at the start here, and it's to do with how I can be representing all of you. Now, I'm not a Muslim, but I know and understand the Muslim faith. I'm a Christian, but as far as I'm concerned, that is neither here nor there. My job is to represent you and to give you a voice on the basis of the shared values that we all have. We've got a real issue in this country that there is there is a lot of misunderstanding. There is an awful lot of nonsense that's written about Islam and about Muslims in the newspapers. And the truth of the matter is that there is a national debate that's going on at the moment, whether you like it or not. And it is absolutely critical that all of us get involved and have a voice. Because if you don't get involved and you don't have your voice, then you are by definition voiceless. And voiceless people are powerless people. So we need to make sure that you use your vote. Now, I'm going to tell you a little story now, and it's maybe one that some of you know. It's about a man and a woman. And the woman, she really didn't like this man. And so this man, every day he walked under her window. And one day she decided she was so against him that she was going to throw all of her rubbish onto this man. And so the man comes along, and sure enough, he walks under the window and she chucks all the rubbish on him. And she's expecting him to react, she's expecting him to get angry. And he just walks right on by. So the next day, exactly the same thing happens. This man comes along and he walks under the window and she throws the rubbish again. And once again, he doesn't respond. And this goes on and on and on. And do you know the identity of this man? I think we all know the identity of this man. This was the Prophet Muhammad. And we know the end of the story, don't we? That when the woman one day doesn't throw the rubbish, rather than, celebrating, he worries. He worries for her. Where is she? And he goes into the house and he looks after her. Now that is the kind of thing, that is the face of Islam that I got to know in Libya. That is the face of Islam that I got to know. That is the caring, honest people who looked after me in that country. And that is what we need to try and get across as a united voice in this country. And so, whatever your political persuasion, I'm going to be here to try and fight for you as someone who understands the community, might not be of it, but understands it, and on the basis of our shared values, on the basis of the things that we have in common, our belief in the importance of family. We believe in the importance of marriage as the place to bring up children. The importance of education. We've just heard about the terrible problems we have in Bradford with low under-educational achievement. It's a fundamental Conservative policy that we need to be improving education. It's the same with the health service. It's the same with business, with self-reliance, and all these things. So I want to try and present a voice of unity for all of you. I want to be your representative. I want Qayyum to be your representative. And together, if we can go out from here and tell your friends and family that in the Conservatives, you've got some people who actually give a damn this time, then perhaps we might just make a bit of a difference. Thank you very much.